Hi, I'm Ellie from midwifediaries.com. I'm a midwife and a writer, and this is a new series for the Student Midwife Journal called And Then There's Us, and it's for students and newly qualified midwives. Now, this edition is about permission to be human, and you'll have seen my article. It's on resilience in midwifery. Now, resilience is having a bad rap at the moment in midwifery, and I understand why. It's not appropriate, many researchers and lead midwives are saying, to look at NHS organisational problems and then go, and we're going to sort these out by making the staff we have more resilient. I totally get that, I am in agreement with that, but I also think cultivating human spirit is something I'm going to be really interested in always. So you can have a look at that article, see whether it works for you, any of those techniques. And I also wanted to talk about one extra thing that I do in clinical practice, or when I'm at a big scary conference or something like that, because it takes a couple of seconds to do and it's had a really big impact for me. So this is called a tribe list, and it's straight from Brene Brown, who is a sociologist that I just love. And she says what we should do is when you're doing something big and brave, and midwifery is always big and brave, you should have a list in your pocket of the 4 most important people in your life. So written down, piece of paper about the size of a post-it note. And this means when you are in clinical practice, or when you're doing something big and scary like an OSCE, you judge yourself appropriately. So imagine you are in clinical practice and it's one of those situations where there's an emergency, you don't quite get what's going on, you're a student midwife, you're still learning, and your heart starts beating, you start to sweat a little bit, time starts to slow down. And you go through that emergency, you do pretty well, and then afterwards your mentor says to you, okay, you can do this, this and this better. Now, no matter how good we are at constructive criticism, it's still always a bit of a moment for most of us. And it's hard to negotiate emotionally and get back for the rest of the shift. What happens if you have a piece of paper in your pocket with the names of people who know how to judge you fairly as a whole human being? Is you go, oh, okay, I can see that this constructive criticism is useful, but I'm not going to let it drop down beyond that. I'm not going to let them judge me sort of morally as a person. Oh, how could you have done this, or how could you have done that? And on my tribe list, I'm thinking in particular of a very good friend of mine who's a doctor. And in clinical practice, I can imagine her rolling her eyes at me if I've made a mistake or I'm learning, and she's kind of laughing with me and going, well, that wasn't your best move, was it? But I know that she thinks I can get back up again and do it all again. And it also reminds you of how proud your friends and family are that you're a midwife and you've chosen this life and you're doing all of this. So that's what I'd suggest. Just try it. Have this little piece of paper in your pocket, handwrite the names, that always helps. And it's like, to paraphrase Alan Bennett, who I really love, the writer Alan Bennett, it's like having a hand coming out of a piece of paper and taking yours. And I'm always going to love writing stuff. I am a writer, but yeah, I hope you find this helpful. So that's my technique. Please leave me a comment, let me know if this is helpful for you. You can always find me on in the secret community for Midwives in the Making on Facebook. That is the group that I moderate. And also you can email me on ellie@midwifediaries.com for support. I will see you in the next edition, and until then, take care.